Hey everybody, today on Dragology we're going to do a simple roller set to give this wig a little control. So this is my favorite wig. It's my 80s Miss America hair, and this is how I generally wear it. Now, like any long hair, it's going to get in your face. You're going to have hair coming across your lips, you're going to have lip gloss across your cheeks, and if you're like me, this is going to drive you insane. So I like to give my wigs a good strong set to give it the control to stay away from my face. Now normally I like this set to be a little softer, but today I want it to be a bit more crunchy, so I'm going to set it in straight hairspray and 2-inch magnetic rollers. So the first thing you're going to have to do is secure your wig to your block, and because we're working with a lace front, we have to do this in a really specific way. You've probably seen videos and stuff like that where people are using a piece of ribbon, and this is why. If you just take and put your pins through your lace and you start pulling this stuff around, you're going to rip your lace. So what you do is you pin through the ribbon first and then into the lace, and it acts as like a reinforcement for your lace. Okay, so we're going to take our time with this. So get just a short piece of ribbon. You don't need it to be very long, as long as it's enough to go around the hairline. Take your time. Find the place. You're going to use these. These are corsage pins, and you'll get them in the fabric store. Take your time. Find all the good points. What this also helps to do is it'll allow you to get the hair to move away from the lace, and it gives it a more natural looking feel. So this is the part that you can't spend too much time at. Okay. So as I've told you guys before, the sectioning that you take is the most important part of any of the projects that you're going to ever take as far as wigs go. Okay, be it updos, roller sets, whatever. And you cannot take a big head of hair like this and deal with it all at once. Okay, you're just going to make a mess. The easiest way I can tell you to do this is to use the rollers that you're going to use as a guideline for the sections you're going to take. Now I always like to do my bang section first, the top section right here, and this is the easiest way to do it. Find the very center of your head and put your roller on it like this, okay? And we always call this diameter roller, okay? So you're gonna lay it at the hairline, this is diameter, and roll it back, roller. Where it ends is where your section is gonna end, okay? That might be a little bit hard to see. Do it again, diameter, roller. That's where your side ends. And do it again the other way, diameter, roller. That's where your other side ends. Now spend the time to get that a nice clean section out. Now because you measured it around the size of the rollers, when you put your rollers in, this is going to fit perfectly. Now here's another little tip for you guys as well. When you've got to brush out a wig, most people just tend to go and just brush, okay? Well that's wrong, because you're gonna end up pulling a lot of hair. At the base of it, grab it and hold it as tight as you possibly can. And that way when you brush the ends of it, you take the strain off the root, so you're less likely to pull hair out. So now let's section out the sides. And again, you want to work it around the dimension of the roller. I want it to curl into my face. It helps to hide my hairline a little bit. So I want you to lay the roller the way that you want the curl to go. We're going to fit about 3 rollers here easily on the side, but I want them to pivot as it goes up so that it ends up laying flat. Okay, so we want a roller here, a roller here, roller here. So just mark out, it's going to be kind of like a half curved section on the side. So just use your roller to measure where you want it to be, and that's the section that you're going to take out. Don't throw your comb around like I just did. And clip it off Do the same thing on the other side. Now the back part is easy. It's going to be 3 sections straight down. Start with your center one and use your roller again to mark your section all the way down. The other 2 on the sides, don't worry about them. They're going to be pretty much already the exact same size of the roller. Somebody along the way has thought about that when they created the sizing of these, okay? So mark your section one, your center section one down really, really clean, and the other side should be fine just the way they are. So I like to roll the fronts of my wigs first. Okay, this is the important part. It's the stuff that people see. Now, the front of the wig is not going to be a square section. They're actually going to be triangle sections because I want them to pivot around each other, right? So take your roller. I'm going to start on the side. Lay your roller on the side. So the width of it, at the top of it, that's going to be the top of your triangle. The bottom of it, measure the width of your roller, and you're going to create a triangle. Okay, so down here is going to be the width of your roller. Okay, the width of your roller. And the length of your roller from that is where the top of it is, where the point is. That's where you're going to pivot from to make these sit all together, okay? So this is your little triangle section. And like I said, we're working this wig from dry. It's not going to be wet at all. So we're just going to lace it down with hairspray. And this is just plain hairspray. It comes in a big gallon jug. It's cheap as can be. Lace this down. Pay special close attention to your ends. Give this a little comb through just to evenly distribute all the product in it. If you see any dry spots or spots you want to add a little extra to, feel free to do it now. Now remember, it's the wetness of the hair that makes it stick to these. That's why they call it magnetic rollers. Okay, so just take and wrap around. And you're going to want this to sit right clean to the front of the hairline. Now, because these have holes in them, I'm actually going to use T-pins right through the hole on the inside, and it's going to secure it right to the head. It's awesome as far as I'm concerned. And also, it's going to hold your wig in a lot better position when you're drying it and working with it. So your next section is going to be exactly the same, but you've already got your point, your pivot point here at the top. It's where your other roller started, right? So you've already got that. At the back, take the width of your roller again. And if you want to make it real easy, just put your thumb against the roller, because that's going to mark the width of it. Okay, and come from there. And that's your next section. So it's a triangle, right? This is what we call a triangle base section. So just make sure you get it nice and clean. And then whatever's left over, this is your last section, okay? So again, lace this down. Distribute this well. Okay, so this is important. When you're wrapping this one, I want you to start to hold the whole section up about 45 degrees away from the base. Okay, so you're going to bring it this way. And that way when you wrap it, it's going to sit right there. If you held it straight up, it's going to end up down here. Okay, so we want it to sit right here so it'll fit together. So you hold it, this is what we call on base. And it will sit right in place. Now do your last section. And again, hold this 45 degrees above the section. So it will sit perfectly. And it should look like that. So nice curve, and you'll know you got it right if you can see your section from the top, right? So you can see a nice clear line. So you know this is not over direct or anything like that. And it's gonna sit and everything is gonna fit together perfectly, and that makes me happy. So the top section is gonna work a little bit different. We're gonna do this in what we call, it's a pivoted arch, okay? So first, take a section straight down the middle out of your half moon shape on the top. Just lay each side. Now decide which way you want your part to go. So I always part over my right side, so I'm gonna go this way. Everything's gonna be rolled this way. And the rollers are gonna pivot together at this center point. So here, 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 and here. And it doesn't matter if you're on base or off base or above or whatever. Your first one, you want it to get up as high as possible, but as you go, you're gonna start to direct the other way so that you're gonna end way down here, okay? And that's gonna give you that big, swoopy Marilyn Monroe-y arch, okay? So, but the same thing as we did on the sides. We've got our pivot point here. That's your diameter there. So you get your pivot point here. So here is gonna be the width of your roller. Okay, so take a section out from there to your center point, the width of your roller. And again, it's a little triangle. So up here, again, is the width of your roller. Down here, it just comes directly down to that front center point that you started at, okay? So just take the time to make it, refine it, make it perfect. So this is your first section. Now when you roll this, you're going to direct it 45 degrees above, like I told you before, and it will set right on base. But as you start to move your other sections, you're going to do the exact same way. It's all pivoted around here. As you start to move the other ones, it's going to start moving this way. Okay, so you're not going to be going 45 degrees above. You're actually going to be going 45 degrees below, and you're going to end down here in the forehead, right? So that's what's going to give you that. It's going to whoosh and down and around. Okay, now I like a nice clean bang, so make sure that you really comb this through, comb the product through. It's going to get all those little extra little pieces all glued down with the product so everything will lay nice and smooth, right? Don't be scared to give it more product. Comb. And we're going 45 degrees above the base. And boom, right on. Okay, now at this point you're going to want to do these clips first, okay, because this is going to be kind of, you're working in close quarters here, so there's always that chance of getting things out of sorts. So gently take your next section. Just like I told you. So your front center point is fine. Get your diameter of your roller and go directly to the point in the front. Okay, so you got another triangle. Now get this one as high as you can. So like I say, these ones you want them to set as much on base as you can. But your next one, you're probably going to start to direct the other way. So So these last two sections, I'm going to work them a little bit differently. I'm actually going to start at the front and work my way back so it connects in perfectly, because this roller is really big, so I don't want it to get in my way. So I'm actually going to do my last section first here. I'm going to do it the exact same way, and whatever's left over will just go in the last roller, because it's already going to be sectioned out for me. So I'm just going to work backwards here for a moment. Now, like I told you, instead of directing it this way for this one, I want you to direct it forward a little bit, okay? It's going to bring it more down onto your forehead. Okay, so technically I could put this last one into one big roller and it would be fine, but I think I have room. I'm actually going to split it into two. So it's the same thing, because if you look, I've easily got the distance of two rollers here. It may stack on top of each other just a little bit, but I think I'll get more curl, I'll get more volume and stuff in the front if I do it in two. So I'm going to put two extra ones in here. You section them out the same way. Okay, and that's what your top section should look like. So start, pivot, 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 and end. Okay, so all we have left to roll is the back, and there's really nothing fancy about this, so I'm just going to speed right through it. Continue to use the diameter of your roller as your guide. The center section I'm going to wrap first, so I'm going to wrap it from the top to the bottom, okay? But on the sides, I'm actually going to go from the bottom to the top, and that's only because of this, it's like a half moon section, so I want to start at the bottom and pivot my rollers as I come up so that I can end flat against these rollers. So we're all set. Now take the time to go through and just make sure everything is secured properly. I'm gonna pop this under the hood dryer for about a half an hour. It's hairspray, so it's gonna take no time at all to dry. If you don't have a hood dryer, that's fine. Just leave it set out overnight, and then we'll be right back with styling. So styling this one is actually pretty simple. The back, I just want it down, curly, and beautiful, okay? It's not till I get to the front that I actually need to worry about anything. So starting at the bottom, take out your pins, but this is the most important part. When you get the curl out, I want you to break it up some, okay? And you'll be able to see your pieces and take them in individual sections and just kind of spin them around your finger a little bit. And it will keep them in just nice, perfect curls. It just makes the end result look a lot better. So these last couple rows on top, I want to fill them in a little bit. They're a little gappy right here. So I'm just gonna grab it and just give it a little back combing at the root with just a pick. And it's just gonna fill in those gaps. Well, maybe not that one that I just made a mess out of, but just respin it. And then continue to take your ones out on top and just give them a little, kind of roughen them up a little bit at the root. And it's just gonna break up, we call them roller lines. Okay, we're just gonna break up your roller marks so that the hair will lay a little bit better. Just makes it better in the end. Now, it's probably a good idea also to think about where you're going to put what's going to happen right here. This stuff here, I know I don't want it to lay coming out this way. So I'm going to actually, when I backcomb it, kind of haul it back as you backcomb it and to help it direct it to the direction, direct it in the way you want it to go, right? So never be scared to be a little bit aggressive with things. Put it where you want it. And when all else fails, give it a little spray, take your blow dryer, and freeze it back in place. That's actually how we're going to style the sides. We're going to do it mostly with the blow dryer. I just need it to move off of my face, okay? So let's continue on. Same thing, I want you to grab it, pull it back before you backcomb it to kind of move it in the direction that you need it to go. Now for the top, the hair is going to move this way. So start taking out your rollers from this side first, okay? Because that way you can style this, get it in place, and then as these rollers come out, you can build it on top. That way you won't have to mess things up when you have to do the other side, right? If you started on this side and got all this done and did this, and then you'd have to move this out of the way to get this, and you're just going to end up with a mess, okay? So start on this side and work from here first. Now this is the important stuff. So you want to, I like to work with it all at once as opposed to taking it one roller at a time. I just need this really just softened around the face. There's really nothing, there's really not a lot to do with it. Break it up because you don't want it to look crunchy around your face. And remember, this is a lace front, so you want to keep that real natural looking hairline. So just keep that in mind when you're styling around that. But you want to break it up so that everything kind of flows in together. We want this like really good, well, for lack of a better word, you know, 80s hair, because you know how they did the claws on the side of their head? Well, that's what I want. I want it up and soft, okay? And like I said before, never be scared to use your blow dryer and a little hairspray just to get things put in place. I'm gonna break apart the curls on the end later. I wanna get the foundation of it put in first and get that all set, because if I just did it now, it's just gonna get all messed up, right? So get the foundation put in first and then worry about setting all the curls in place. A little spray. Break it up. Smooth it out to connect it together. Now that you've got your foundation on the side, gently go through, do the same thing, break through and spin your curls. Okay, and let's move on to the top. Okay, just lightly break this up. You want to kind of see where it wants to lay. All I know is I want them to be skyscraper. I like my bangs up. But this is definitely the benefit of that set. It makes it want to do that. Okay, so it's all in the arch. I like what this is doing right here. I'm going to put some backcombing in all through this and smooth it into that direction, and we're ready to go. This is the part that people see here, so we want to make sure that this is smooth. Who cares what this all looks like inside here? That's the backcombing that's going to give you the height that you want. So take the time to refine. Just use the point of your tail comb. Take the time to refine and just make sure that this is all nice and smooth, and fill in the little holes and gaps. If you have to add more teasing in there, that's just fine. But this is your front door, so you want people to see it looks perfect. So now I'm going to work from this side. I'm just going to go through, do my spinning thing, take the curls out, put everything in place where it needs to go, and just work it one little bit at a time until it sits the way I want. So all we got left is to just place this over this and your bangs are done. Now because you already backcombed all through the bangs, or I backcombed to the bangs, I really don't need to mess too much with them. It's just going to be a matter of setting each curl in place, getting each one where you want it to be. Give it a spray, use your blow dryer. Okay. I think that's pretty much the way I want it. All we got left is these. Now because this is my part side, I really like this to move back. I like to keep it way, like almost tucked behind my ear. So I'm gonna take this all in one clump and back comb this together. Directing the hair back as I do it. That's pretty much perfect, actually. Connected together with the rest. Then just take the time to go through and pick through your curls. So I think I've got this pretty much the way I want it, and of course I'll refine it more when it's actually on my head. I hope you guys learned some good tips and tricks, and stay tuned for more on Dragology.